What's up, fam? It's your boy Matty Swank, your favorite neighbor's favorite neighbor, back with another one. And let me tell you, the foolishness is among us. And today, the news just in: Andrew Tate has been arrested, and I'm not too sure. I've seen some stuff, but I'm not too sure what he got arrested for. So we're gonna take a look, and I'll give you my thoughts on the entire situation. Real quick, so Andrew Tate is, I would say, a very famous person at this point. Probably most hated, also most loved. And I think he's gotten famous for saying a lot of things that a lot of people agree with, and saying things a lot of people disagree with. And my first thought in hearing anything is, what's the truth, right? I'm always looking for the truth. My thought is always facts over feelings. Yes, feelings are important, but I don't believe in most cases they should overshadow the facts, right? Feelings are very important and we have them for a reason, but I think that facts can outweigh feelings 99.9% of the time. And we have an intuition for a reason, right? So it's a healthy balance. But here today, we're just gonna be looking for the facts. And I will share how I feel about it, and I also wanna know how you feel about it. I think probably a mixed bag, and I am very aware that a lot of people do not fuck with him, and I get it. He's definitely said some very controversial things. A lot of things I believe he says in jest. A lot of things are hyperbole, but he does say a lot of things that a lot of people agree with and don't agree with. So he has been all over the news, all over social media, all over the internet for quite some time now. He got canceled, and then I think he got uncanceled. And yeah, let me show you something. Let me show you something. All right, so first let's see. Well, this is front and center. It says that he has been detained in human trafficking case. And in looking through news, I always look for sources that I believe are credible, right? Same thing I do when I am listening to a story told by anybody. Is this credible? Is this person known to tell the truth? Are they lying? Do they have a history of lying? If they have a history of lying, then I don't know what to believe, and I need to find the truth for myself. So let's see. It says he was in Romania. Romania detains ex-kickboxer Andrew Tate in human trafficking case. And I've heard that. I've heard him speak. And he does a lot of long-winded discussions. He's very... he says a lot. He talks a lot. Okay, detained in human trafficking case. So I fuck with this source. Let's check them out real quick. Let's see what they're talking about. Do they have any video? They're probably gonna hit us with some ads. Banned from many social media platforms for misogynistic comments and hate speech. And his brother Tristan will be detained for 24 hours alongside 2 Romanian suspects. Ooh, interesting. Prosecutors from anti-organized crime unit said in a statement after raiding their properties. After raiding their properties in Bucharest. All right. Misogynistic. And words mean things. When we use words, it's very important that we know what they mean and that we're using them in the fashion that they're meant to be used. So I will say that I hear a lot of people throw around words and don't even know what the word means. Not to say that Reuters is doing it, but I've heard people say that about him a little bit. And I will say that I have a biased opinion, because I think a lot of people say that he's misogynistic, or they say that it's hate speech, and don't know anything that he's said. right? So just, I will say that I have a biased opinion, right? But when you're analyzing people, things, cases, as in right now, I would just ask that we all be unbiased and just look for the facts, right? I haven't found him to be a liar. I have heard him say some outlandish things, and again, I think a lot of it is hyperbole, but I think I believe there's a lot of truth in what he says. So right now, we're just looking for the facts. 4 suspects appear to have created an organized crime group with the purposes of recruiting, housing, and exploiting women by forcing them to create pornographic content meant to be seen or specialized websites for a cost, prosecutor said. They would have gained important sums of money. Oh, are any of these words I'm not supposed to say? Pornographic? Am I supposed to say pornographic? I've been told I'm not supposed to say that P word, so maybe I should say pornographic. Tate has said women are particularly responsible for being raped and that they belong to men. Earlier this week, the British national was told to get a life by climate activists. Oh, okay, here we go. The British national was told to get a life by climate activist Greta Thunberg on Twitter after he told her he owned 33 cars with enormous emissions. The story has been ratified to correct typo in misogynistic in paragraph 2. They didn't spell it right. All right. Prosecutors said they had found 6 women who had been sexually exploited by the suspects. Sexually exploited. All right. So these things sound like an easy investigation. If Andrew Tate is, in fact, responsible for sexually exploiting people, then there will be timestamps, or should be, let me say that there should be timestamps, and that there should be factual evidence outlining the accused claims, right? The things that he's been accused of, there should be factual evidence that he's done these things. Now, I'm not a detective, right? I mean, I kind of am. I kind of am a detective, but I'm not a CIA agent. That's not my forte. But I can think of a couple of ways how you would find it, right? I'm thinking if he's doing these things, is it done in person or is it done online? Because I have heard that he ran a dating site. I don't know anything about it being pornography or it being anything about webcam. I don't know anything about that. I'm not saying that it's true. I'm not saying it's not true. I haven't heard that. I'm under the impression that it's like a dating site where people message, girls, or they talk to them in a call center. That's what I'm under the impression of, and I am very open to being wrong, right? Again, I'm just looking for the facts. I don't care how it makes me feel. Again, I told you my opinion is biased. I haven't heard him lie or get caught in any lies of the sort, but I'm open to evidence proving that he's a liar. If he is, at the end of the day, I just want the truth. I don't care how it makes me feel. I'd be like, oh, that sucks. I do think that it's very interesting. I did see something. So this Greta Thunberg, I guess is 19 and is a climate activist, right? And I think all of this came about afterwards. I think that might be a coincidence, although I don't really believe in coincidences. But he did respond to what she said, and they were able to find him because the address on a box of pizza that he had. And he's a chess player. He's a world champion, I believe. So he's playing chess and didn't think that one through, which is why I'm like, okay. And not everybody's infallible, right? Not everybody is without fault. Players mess up too. So, he got caught slipping big time. All right, well, we hear the charges. Human trafficking, which is crazy, and forcing people to do pornographic content, which I don't know how you force. So maybe if you're drugging people, I don't know if I'm supposed to say that word. Forcing. If you're forcing people to do pornographic content, I think that there's only a few ways. There's probably many ways to do that. And I'm just not aware of those. So not saying he did or didn't. I'm not aware of that. But I will say, I guess it's possible. I don't believe that to be the case because of, his values. I hear him say a lot of times that women are to be protected, which is it. Like that's a lot of the things that he says, right? Women to be protected. And I have heard him say that women are his property, which that's a whole discussion in its own, right? I think he's talking about a lot of the things that he says, I believe, are traditional, right? When a man and a woman get married, back in the day, right? The woman, very, very traditional. Back in the day, the father would give away the bride, and usually it would be in exchange for something, right? In exchange for resources, which I think that's kind of the case today. We just label it a little differently, right? So in a traditional marriage, the father walks the bride down the aisle and gives her away to him, right? I believe releasing his protection, the father's protection, as a father, it is your duty to protect your offspring, to protect your seed, and you give away your daughter for the next man to protect her, right? So I think that that's what he's talking about. I don't think that he owns her. Like, I think that that's hyperbole. Some of the things that he said, I believe that that's hyperbole. But you are responsible in a relationship. I do believe that you're responsible for your wife, right? You're responsible for keeping her safe, for, keeping her in good health, right? So I believe that. But I've heard him say a number of times that women are to be protected, right? Men are protectors and providers. And obviously, I think this goes without saying, not every relationship dynamic is the same. There's no blanket statement for a relationship. We can speak in generalities, right? But obviously, there's exceptions to the rule, but exceptions don't make the rule. Nevertheless, men are generally seen as protectors and providers, and I've heard him say this a number of times. Women are to be protected and provided for, right? She doesn't have to work. I'm going to take care of her, and I'm going to protect her in the event of extreme situations. Somebody comes in and this and that. I'm the one, as a man, I'm the one that has to defend her, and I believe that that's 100% true, right? And I would go a step further as, men, need to do things, right? Protect, provide, create, develop, fix things, right? Those are just my views. And again, not every relationship is the same. Women do that too. And sometimes women are better at it than men are. So, get it how you live. So yeah, I think if he is indeed responsible for this, that should be easy to prove, right? If it's online, there should be IP addresses that match, websites, maybe registration information, maybe location. There should be a record of pings. If there was a studio, there should be evidence. All of this stuff should line up to create a case against him if this is indeed factual, right? I don't want to hear, some random woman who he's never met, who has no evidence of this or that. Like, that's hearsay. And I don't think that creates a strong argument. Not to say that it's not true, because I know that a lot of times in these kind of situations, there is no evidence. And not to say that it didn't happen, but I have heard of people that I know not having evidence of something happening. And I don't like that, right? Again, I want what's right for everybody. I want the best for everybody. And I think everybody deserves to be treated with respect, with love, and with dignity. And forcing people to do stuff like this is absolutely not that. I will say again, I don't think that he did it, but I don't know. I wasn't there. That's not for me to say, right? That's for me to I have my thoughts on it and let the facts show what did or didn't happen. So that's where I'm at with that. Okay, now this Greta character, let's see what happened with that. Greta Thunberg. All right. Oh, we love ads here. We love them. Oh, you know, let me close that because I gotta do that over here. All right, here we go. Romanian police learned of Tate's whereabouts after he posted a video featuring a local pizza box. That's not a chess move, bro. That is not a chess move. Sitting in a Romanian jail cell after being arrested for human trafficking on Thursday. I think it's crazy, like some of the things that that I'm not supposed to say, just because of the algorithm, right? If I want people to see this, then you know there's some things that I'm not supposed to say, and that sounds like one of those. But yeah, okay. On Thursday, incredibly, he tipped off Romanian authorities of his whereabouts in a video responding to climate activist Greta Thunberg and her sick burn of him. Well, she sounds like a supporter. And, you know, that is what it is. Again, a lot of people don't like him. All right, here we go. In case you missed it, so we're gonna click on this in a second. In case you missed it earlier this week, Tate, a former kickboxer turned misogynistic right media personality, attempted to troll Thunberg by flaunting his 33 cars he apparently owns. Please provide your email address so I can send you a complete list of my car collection and their respective enormous emissions. Obviously, that was said in jest. Or I believe that was said in jest. Tate wrote in a tweet directed at Thunberg, the 19-year-old Nobel Prize nominee. Interesting. Okay, let's see who she is. They don't just give those out, right? She responded with an absolutely brutal takedown. Yes, please do enlighten me. Email me at smalldickenergy@getalife.com, she tweeted. That was a sick burn. Yeah. In an attempt to save face, Tate uploaded a video. Ooh, let's see if we can watch this video. Tate uploaded a video in which he responded to Thunberg's mockery with while smoking a cigar and eating a pizza. The only problem, the pizza box was from a local pizza chain, alerting Romanian authorities of his presence in the country. My man got caught slipping, and he did it to himself. That's not cool. Yo, I will never, unless there's evidence, I will never celebrate somebody losing their freedom, right? Unless there's evidence. Yo, this person killed, this person unalived 100 people. Yo, throw that man under the jail and maybe he deserves the death penalty, right? Not cool. This person incited a riot at the Capitol. Is there evidence for that? All right, that's a crime of some sort. Yo, lock him up. Yo, if people are doing things that are putting other people's lives in danger, safety, everybody deserves to be safe, right? No matter what. Everybody deserves to be safe, have shelter, basic human needs. Everybody deserves those things. And if somebody is standing in the way of those things, then there needs to be consequences for that. So if you are in fact forcing people to do things that aren't good for their safety or mental well-being, then there's got to be consequences. All right, let's see if we can watch this video.
Release some greenhouse gases. I'm obviously a stranger to online controversy. It's not something I often do. But now, the mainstream press is commenting on the fact that I was informing Greta that my very extensive car collection with internal combustion engines, which run on dead dinosaurs, have an enormous emission profile. And she replied by telling me her own email address. Greta's email address is, I have small dick energy. Why would that be your own email address, Greta? Strange. I mean, obviously I don't want to assume her gender. It's 50-50, but it is what it is. I'm not actually mad at Greta. Please bring me pizza and make sure that these boxes are not recycled. Thank you.
Oh, come on,
So
man.
I'm
Here it
actually
is.
mad at Greta, right? Because she doesn't realize she's been programmed. She doesn't realize she's a slave of the Matrix. She thinks she's doing good. Someone has sat her down.
All right, here it is right here. Jerry's Pizza. And that looks like a QR code. And this is apparently a local Romanian pizza joint, pizza establishment. And I mean, I'm gonna call it humor. I think you can clearly hear that he's being facetious and in jest this entire time, but that's just my perception of it, right? So there's that.
And convinced her to try and convince you to beg your government to tax you into poverty to stop the sun from being hot.
What? What?
And then, because I called her out on it, the global matrix got this bot farm to like and retweet and all this bot commenting to try and pretend that her telling me that she has a small dick in her own email address somehow teaches me a lesson. Welcome to a new episode of The Clown Show. But now I know, at least, that Greta, with a little hate-filled face, bitter, sitting somewhere without the heating on, in the cold, a little hat, shivering, use my tweets, which is going to make my Twitter account far more fun into eternity.
All right, so that's the response, and I think there is high comedic value in this, and all right, so here we go. There's probably a thread. Let's see if there's a thread here. Let's see if there's a thread here. That's a Bugatti. A Bugatti. Beef with teenagers instead of actual adults and still losing is wild. No. I don't believe that to be the case. I think he beefs with anybody. Anybody can get it. Anybody can get it. I haven't seen him back down from an argument or from a discussion, and I've seen quite a bit of his content. So that's interestingly worded. Why is a 19-year-old climate activist famous? All right, interesting. Oh yeah, I love the internet. I did want to see why she is nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize. Jeez, those are serious claims. Meatloaf. Plus, he's admitted he's a climate change denier. I don't know who she is. All right, let's do it. Greta, look at this. See how fast. Nobel Prize. Oh. For a consecutive year. TheThrill.com. So I don't know anything about this source, but I think it's hard to mess up why somebody is nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize. Teen was nominated for her climate activism. Okay, so it means she's done some stuff. Fridays for Future movement sparked climate demonstrations all over the world. Thunberg was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize in 2019. Nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize for the second consecutive year, 17-year-old nominated by Swedish lawmakers. All right, climate activist. Main reason she deserves a Nobel Peace Prize is that despite her young age, she's worked hard to make politicians open their eyes to climate crisis. Activists work towards reducing our emissions, and complying with the Paris Agreement is therefore also an act of making peace with the Earth. I will say that I believe that we are doing this Earth a disservice. And I also don't know how much of what is happening is naturally cyclical, right? I think before we got here, there was an ice age. There are hot periods. I do believe that with the amount of things that we're doing on this planet, I think that we could cause some type of something, right? Humans have effect on things. And I do believe that we can cause some sort of effect. Now, to the extent, I don't know what, haven't seen the numbers on it, but I do believe that humans just largely are messing things up. So I will say that. But to what extent, I'm not sure. So I will say that we do need to take care of this planet, right? All the trash that's in the ocean, emissions, I don't know. Smoke isn't good for your body, right? So if you're inhaling smoke, if you're setting things on fire and you're inhaling it, right? That's not good for the inside of your body. And I think that if you're setting things on fire, and it's going into the atmosphere, it can't be good for the atmosphere. So I think that there's that. Now, what effect does that have on global climate? I don't know. I would like to see the science on it. That people have been saying this for a while, and there has to be evidence of it. And I don't know how you would hold something constant, right? How you would say, oh, this is a natural cycle of what the Earth does, and this is the part that humans are affecting, right, with our technological advances. I don't know how to do that, but I'm sure somebody does, so maybe that'll be, a later episode. But yeah, there's got to be evidence for this. Thunberg raised a climate change issue before the UN General Assembly last September. The UN's COP25 meeting in Madrid. Nobel Peace Prize was awarded to Ethiopia's Prime Minister. Okay, here we go, for his work on negotiating peace with Eritrea. That's what's up. Shout out to him. So, climate control. So she's been nominated twice for her work in trying to do something about the climate. All right, so I'll buy that. 2 years in a row. And it said that she had an organization. What is the organization called? Climate activists. Fridays for Future. There it is. Fridays for Future. All right. All right. Cool. So that's who she is. And okay. According to the Romanian newspaper, Tate and his brother were among 4 individuals who were arrested on Thursday. Oh, okay. Has he been? I'm under the impression that he's been arrested for this before, and they didn't find anything. So let's do that real quick. Andrew Tate. I hate that I'm even typing in these words. Don't blacklist me or whatever happens. Aren't all fun and games. Was allegedly forcing them into digital sex work while influencing. All right, so there's got to be proof of that. BBC, let's see. Jeez. Create a free BBC account. All right, the brothers have been under investigation since April, alongside 2 Romanian nationals. 4 suspects appear to have created an organized crime group with the purpose of recruiting, housing, and exploiting women by forcing them to create pornographic content meant to be seen on specialized websites for cost. Right? Oh, that was according to the Reuters news agency. So we just read that. We read that one first. Cool. He moved to Romania 5 years ago. Video of the raid showing guns, knives, and money on display in one room. 2016, Big Brother. Oh, we're getting a little background information. British citizen who was born in the U.S., fought professionally as a kickboxer and won world titles. In 2016, he entered the Big Brother house, but was soon removed after video was circulated, which appeared to show him hitting a woman with a belt. Yep, we've heard about that. And I believe the story with that. And she even agreed that that was the nature of the relationship. It wasn't abuse. I don't know if I can say that word either. Jeez. It wasn't anything that was harmful, right? And that was how they played. It was like a fetish of hers of some sort. But don't take my word for it. If you're interested, look into it. But that's just what I've heard to be true. He said it, and I believe that she said it too. And that's not hard to find, right? Anything that you're hearing, look into, if you care at all. If you care to not be spreading misinformation, look into it for yourself. Get it from the source if you can, and only go off of trusted sources, right? Some random person saying that he did something or didn't do something isn't good. I can tell you that he didn't do something, but I'm not him, right? Again, look for the evidence, look for the facts. I hope that this is just encouraging you to do a little research for yourself, right? Don't take my word for it. I'm gonna say things that I believe to be true, objectively, and it's 100% up to you to do the additional research. If you care. If you don't, then it's okay to not have an opinion on something, but how can you rightfully have an opinion on something that you know absolutely nothing about? I don't think that that's right. And I would encourage us collectively to not do that. So anything that you hear me speaking on, I'll give you my opinion, but I'll tell you what I've heard or read to be true from a source that I have found to be credible. It says that he's went on to gain notoriety online, Twitter banning him for saying women should bear responsibility for being sexually assaulted. And we are not gonna talk about that. We're not gonna talk about that. Because that's a whole can of worms, and that might be something different, right? Nobody deserves to be assaulted, right? Nobody. Everybody deserves to be loved and treated with respect. And I think that a lot of times, yeah, we're not going to talk about it. We're not going to talk about it. If you want to know my personal opinions on that, hit me. But nobody asks to be raped. Nobody asks for that. And everybody deserves to be treated with love and respect and with dignity. And they deserve to be safe in their own person, right? Nobody deserves that. So that, I think, is a wild statement. And if you want to know my thoughts on it, hit me. We can have a conversation, and I might even do a later video just on that. But there's a lot of stuff that I don't know about that. So I don't even know if I can even have an opinion on that, to be real. I can't even really have an opinion on that because there's a lot of stuff that I don't know about that. I will say that it is wrong, right? I will say that it's wrong on all fronts, and nobody deserves that. And I don't believe that people ask for that. So other than that, I don't really have an opinion on it. I can tell you what I think, but it's not an informed opinion. So, I mean, that does nobody any good. That does nobody any good. Has been banned from other social media platforms like YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, also removing him, saying misogyny is hateful, is a hateful ideology that is not tolerated. This is like the third time that we've seen this word. So I wonder if we can look up what specific things that he said were misogynistic. I'm under the impression that misogyny is a disdain or hate for women, which I'm happy to look that up. I am happy to look that up. Let's do this one. We're not going to go back through. Define misogyny. It would help if I could spell. Oh, here we go. Dislike of, contempt for, or ingrained prejudice against women. All right. Dislike of, contempt for, or an ingrained prejudice against women. Prejudice. Ingrained prejudice. Well, prejudice against women. Saying things. You know what? Maybe. Dislike of. Contempt for. Those don't sound accurate. Especially since he's straight. I don't believe he hates women. Ingrained prejudice. I think that he might be prejudiced against women. I could say that. Because him speaking in generalities, and I speak in generalities too. I say men this, women that. I'll say that I have a healthy prejudice against humans. I'll say that. I said earlier, humans collectively are fucking up the planet. And there's a lot of things that we're doing that we should not be doing. And I think that humans generally don't do smart things. Congratulations, we've got technology, but what are we doing with it, right? We still got starving people and homeless people, people experiencing homelessness, and a number of other things. So, you know, I will say that he speaks in general, prejudice against women. I don't know, but, you know, don't take my word for it. Do the research yourself. Do the research yourself. Let's get out of here. Okay. So I wanted to see if Andrew Tate trafficking cases. Let's see if he's got multiples. Don't allow. Arrested. Detained in Romania. Detained, independent. I want somebody to tell me if he's, people. Yo. Every news source is reporting on this. And they're all saying the same thing. Unclear who's representing the Tate brothers to comment on their behalf. Oh, here we go. The newspaper said the investigation into the group in April after a complaint was received that a woman with American citizenship was being forcibly held at their residence. A complaint was received. Did the woman complain? Who complained? And where is said woman right now? This sounds very easy. If this woman was being forcibly held at their residence, unless she was like kidnapped, adult napped, and blindfolded, this should be an open and shut case. I was being forcibly held. The cameras will show that I didn't enter the house on my own volition. I don't know how you prove that. I don't imagine them smuggling her in the house. I don't imagine her being smuggled in the house. And she should be able to, if she was indeed in the, I just saw something that was saying somebody, Drake flew somebody out to his house to, you know, have sex and put a baby in her and this and that, and the entire internet is saying that it didn't happen. And she said that she read an NDA and signed it, and here she is online talking about it. So I do know that occasionally people don't tell the truth about things that happen, and this is just across the board, right? Not saying that she did or she didn't, because it's possible that this happened. I don't think it did, but that doesn't mean that it didn't, and I'm open to finding out exactly what happened. As a matter of fact, I'm invested in finding out whether or not this happened, because I agree with a lot of stuff that he says, and I believe him to be a person of good character. I haven't found him to lie about anything. Again, I will agree that a lot of things that he says is outrageous, but I think that it's in jest and it's hyperbole, and he's exaggerating a lot of things. But the sentiments, his tenets, and there's a long list of those. Maybe I post a video of that later, but I agree with a lot of the things that he says, right? Nobody agrees with 100% of the things that anybody says, right? But I think largely he's a good person. And if he's doing this stuff, this is not what a good person would be doing. So I am invested in finding out the truth, because I can't be co-signing people that aren't co-signable, right? Forcing people to do things that aren't good for them is not what somebody would do who is a protector and a provider for women, who touts his strong desire and duty. He actually says that it's his duty to protect and provide for women. So that sounds very contradictory to what he's been saying this entire time. Okay, here we go. Several young women, this seems like new information. All right, several young women were found in a building located about 500 meters from the Bucharest villa. According to the paper, the American woman told investigators she met Tristan through a social media network and convinced her to buy a plane ticket to Romania. The woman contacted her ex-boyfriend, who reported the crime to the U.S. Embassy in Bucharest. All right. Okay, interesting. According to this, investigators waited for the Tate brothers to return to Romania to arrest, moving only after watching his social media appearances to make sure he was in the country. Victims were recruited by British citizens by misrepresenting their intention to enter into a marriage/cohabitation relationship and the existence of genuine feelings of love. Oh, we've heard stuff like that before. That sounds like sex work. That sounds like what happens with MIMPs and 304s. MIMPs and 304s. Yeah, so I've seen that movie before, and that's very interesting. I will say that this does not sound good, and all of this is being, here's what happens, right? All of this comes out, right? Let's go back real quick so we can just see the news sources that are reporting this. People, BBC, The Hill, don't know that one. Excuse me. NBC News, The Independent, HuffPost, News Nation Now, don't know that one, and Yahoo. Reuters. The biggest news sources are reporting on this. So how crazy is this that this is happening? And if he is indeed found innocent, that's not as big of news as him being arrested, right? Not too long ago, and I'm just gonna say this, not too long ago, some woman came out and said that Chris Brown did some stuff to her on a boat that he wasn't supposed to do, right? dragged his name through the mud, and he's already had an incident, right? Nobody knows his side of it, but we know Rihanna's side. Nevertheless, some stuff happened that absolutely should not have happened, right? Back then. Fast forward, this woman says some stuff happened that shouldn't have happened to her. Come to find out, she was lying about it, and nobody prints the retraction, right? I want people to be consistent with what they're doing, but that doesn't always sell newspapers, right? Or get clicks. So, these are some pretty heavy claims. And number one, I hope that he didn't do it. And if he did, then I hope that everybody that was hurt gets justice, right? It doesn't matter who's doing what. So what? I like the guy and agree with a lot of things that he's saying. If he's doing stuff if he's not supposed to be doing, then I don't agree with that. I don't think he's doing it, but I don't know, right? There's three sides to a story. So let's go back. We're gonna go back to people because there was some new news. There was some new news in there. All right, here we go. While the suspects were not identified in the press, hold on. Let's go back. Where are we at? Where were we? Here we are. Eastman, woman, American citizenship. Woman contacted her ex-boyfriend. Investigators waited. Victims were recruited. Here we go. Genuine feelings of love. So they were misled. They were recruited, and their intentions were misrepresented. And I want to know who these people are, because from my understanding, Andrew Tate has been extremely forthright about his intention. He talks about having 4 wives, which is a wild claim, and not everybody agrees with that, right? There's places where it's legal, there's places where it's not legal for whatever reason. But historically, powerful men have had the ability to have multiple wives, right? Historically. And if that's not your cup of tea, obviously don't do it, right? You don't have to agree with it. But I think that he's been very transparent about what his intentions were. So hearing that British citizens, they just labeled him a British citizen, I think that they're pointing that he was one of these people, which is why he's being arrested. He's been very intentional, and they're saying since April. I think he's been famous for much longer than that. I think I found out about him about a year ago, and I've heard him say the same stuff. I haven't heard him contradict himself in his intentions or how he moves, his ideal relationships, partnerships. I haven't heard him contradict himself in any of that. And this is what I've seen publicly. Now, what he's saying in private, I don't know. How do you hide who you are? I mean, maybe you have a fake account, but who with a fake account can hide who they are and convince a girl to buy a plane ticket to Romania? How do you convince a stranger? How do you convince a stranger to buy a plane ticket to a foreign country from America? I don't know how long that plane ride is. I haven't been to Romania. I'm gonna say 16 hours. Let's say 16 hours. It might be more, it might be less, but I think 16 is a good number. You know what? Let's do a little research real quick. You know what? I always say trust but verify. So let's see. SFO to Romania, Bucharest. Let's see how long it is. All right. We are back. My microphone died, so I apologize. But the last thing that we had said was that this flight is 15 hours and 35 minutes. And this is from SFO. I said 16 hours, which I was pretty close. I'm gonna pat myself on the back for that. Man done touch a road. You get me? But yeah, 15 hours. So how do you convince somebody to fly 16 hours, 15 hours? If she was in New York, it might have been less, could have been more, but let's say 15 hours. This is from, my favorite airport in the area. How do you convince somebody to fly 15 and a half hours? Marriage, cohabitation is what it said, right? The picture is hilarious. Yeah, how? Money. People marry for money. People marry for love all the time. And I don't know how much love you could have for a stranger unless there was extensive conversation. Maybe a love for a ideal lifestyle, which would be money, right? So I don't know. We got questions, and I don't know, right? I don't have the answers, but somebody does. Victims were recruited by British citizens by misrepresenting their intention to enter into a marriage cohabitation relationship and the existence of genuine feelings of love. So probably all of those. Probably I got a lot of money. And I love you. Buy a plane ticket. It said that it convinced her to buy a plane ticket, right? They convinced her to buy a plane ticket? Is that what it said? Where is that? I think we saw that. All right, well, I don't want to spend a bunch of time on that, but I believe that it said it convinced her. Rewind it. Convinced her to buy a plane ticket. There it is. Marriage, feelings of love. I love you. I'm gonna marry you. You can live with me. Buy your plane ticket here. Maybe. I think it happens all the time, right? So that doesn't sound far-fetched. Online, right? Hold on. Where did it say through social media network and convinced her to buy a plane ticket to Romania? The woman contacted her ex-boyfriend who reported the crime to the U.S. Embassy in Bucharest. All right, so if it happened on social media, unless the message threads were deleted, there should be evidence of this, right? And why would she delete it? What would cause, just out of curiosity, what would cause a person to delete a message thread that she had with someone who she loved and wanted to marry? So I think that correct me where I'm wrong, please. I think that there should be messages detailing the situation. That should be very easy to prove. And even if it was deleted, the U.S. Embassy, social media sites, unless it was Snapchat, I think that those disappear. Instagram stuff disappears on vanish mode. So I think Instagram, Facebook would give up the information. They would help in this investigation. And as a matter of fact, if they didn't do it, this should clear their name, right? Both parties should want, if this didn't happen, both parties should want this information to be released, right? This never happened. I never agreed to marry her, or this, and that. Pull up our phone records, or here are our phone records. Look at this app, right? Go get my information from Instagram. You have my permission to do this. Now, if they don't want that done, then what does that say? Maybe they were doing some stuff they shouldn't have been if they don't want those records released. But she should be able to prove it on her part, right? That should be very easy to prove. So far, investigators have identified 6 victims who they believe were exploited by the group. All right, if there's 6 of them and they're done the same way, then and social media, this should be very easy to prove. Tate brothers have been under investigation since April according to the outlet. Rose the famous contestant, blah, blah, blah. Twitter spat with climate activist Greta Thunberg. And that sick burn. All right, so a lot of that was new information that wasn't anywhere else. I want to know human trafficking case. Is there any old news? Let's see. Let's just look up Andrew Tate previous. How did you know I was going to ask that, Google? MAGA King of Toxic Masculinity. All right. Yo, there's a lot of words. Market Watch is also reporting on this. Rolling Stones, yo, Al Jazeera, this is crazy. All of these news sources are reporting on this. What is Market? I fuck with Market Watch, not for news about influencers, but about markets. Wow. That's wild. All right. I haven't seen previous trafficking cases. Let's just do previous cases. Somebody help, please. The Guardian. All right, here we go.
World Coach, you a fool for this.
Make an imprint on them. Interesting. All right. Let's just do this. Trafficking. Long before his rise to TikTok fame, Tate's views on women were also becoming clear. On Facebook in 2018, he bemoaned the decline of Western civilization after seeing a poster at Heathrow Airport encouraging girls to go on holiday, as opposed to encouraging being a loving mother and a loyal wife. I don't think that those are mutually exclusive. I think you can do both, but yeah, I'll tell you which one I prefer. Loving mother and loyal wife. But also, I'm going places with my wife. I don't think that's what this meant. I think this meant like girls' trips and all of that. So, yeah, I think there's a place for that. So, I don't know. I don't know. Let's see here. Let's see. Driving offense 2018. Investigated police. Okay, here we go. In another video, he says he's been investigated by police for allegedly abusing a woman, which he denied. In a case where he had his house raided, devices confiscated, and was held in a cell for 2 days. When was that? 40% of the reason he moved there. Not a grapist, but he likes the idea of just being able to do what he wants. I like being free. What does that mean? I got questions. So he's been arrested before on accusations of abuse, was held in a cell for 2 days, devices confiscated, his houses were raided previously. So my question is, did they find anything? What did they find? When was this? Let's see. Let's do a quick Andrew Tate arrested. Jail 2 days. What did he do? All right. Well, maybe I double back with these arrested previously, because everything is just going to show previously arrested, jail 2 days. This is crazy. Yeah, everything is just going to show what he's doing now, and I don't want to like jump all the way into the rabbit hole with trying to find this. Arrested previously. Let's try that. And then if I don't find anything, I might double back, because there's going to be updates. There will definitely be updates. What did he do? Yeah. All right. Well, there's that. There is that. But yeah, so I'm going to say, I mean, he's been arrested before for something it sounds like similar. And this isn't new, right? He said that he ran like a call center with multiple women previously. He's said that. He's admitted to it. Said he didn't do anything illegal. And I think that if they had arrested him previously, unless he's a super sleuth, right? Which clearly he's not infallible. He got caught slipping over a pizza box, right? If he didn't expect to get arrested last time, the raid of his house, taking of his devices, they should have found something, but they let him go last time. So I don't know. I'm very interested to see how this is going to turn out, and I'm invested in finding out the truth. And I will say that women deserve to be protected and be safe, 100%. And nobody deserves to be mistreated and disrespected, regardless of anything. And if you're doing it, there's consequences. There will always be consequences to your actions. And what's done in the dark will come to light. And I hope that he didn't do it. And I'm just going to leave it at that, because I've said a bunch of stuff already. And I'm going to leave it on this note. It is I, Matty Swank, your neighbor's favorite neighbor, reminding you to not be foolish and love your neighbor.